welcome back. I'm Marg from California,
I'm Lori from Alabama.
And I'm Dawn from North Carolina.
and we're here to dish with you about 4 episodes of the Abigail edition, the Elite box set that's available at Walmart and Edify. And it features the unseen episodes, never before seen episodes that were originally filmed in which Lori Loughlin appeared for the second half roughly
Mhm.
of season 6. And but before we get to that, we have had a season premiere date announced. We knew it was
I know, so
January.
excited.
Holy cow! January 4th. What are your thoughts?
It's now less than 6 weeks
I was
away.
gonna say just around the corner.
It's coming up very, very fast. And so it's really the exact same thing as last year. We went directly from Countdown to Christmas right into When Calls the Heart. So,
It's
it's
gonna be a
Mm.
busy
the trees
Christmas
are
and New
still going to be
Year's.
up, probably, it's fabulous. It's quite the gift.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it is the train, the speeding train is coming into the
Yes.
city.
Always,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, true.
Okay. All right. So very excited. I'm very excited for all that's unfolding in the next 6 weeks because there's going to be a lot of buildup. We haven't
I was gonna
gotten
say
through.
I'm gonna see probably some trailers or
Yes.
some, snippets of scenes, and they're kind of leaning into some newsy stuff. So who
What
knows?
what newsy stuff are
Newsy
you?
stuff.
What newsy stuff are you
I
thinking?
thought was it Aaron
Oh,
and not Kevin, Kevin, not
Kevin.
Kevin, with something about, I don't know what the word
Asking
was,
a
but
question. There, like I have a
Question.
yeah, so
exactly. It was
around
just
the
like
question. Yeah,
I don't
someone
want
gonna
to
pop a
use the
question.
word. I just
Yeah.
don't want to use the word because I don't know what it is.
Trying to circle around and
I
not
was
use the
just saying,
word.
Yeah.
here we're
Okay.
going to the red barn.
Well, you're circling so much, we were having a hard time figuring
I
out.
know.
Well, I don't want to say it.
Yes, they do seem to be laying it on
Well,
thick
they
with
said it.
the whole question thing. Yeah.
The question, not
Yeah.
the E thing.
Oh,
What's the E thing? Oh, the engagement. Okay, see, I was on P.
put
Proposal.
a ring on
Oh,
it.
We cannot have these. We cannot have these at 6 o'clock at night because there's no brain cells left at this point.
it's a holiday week.
All right.
Everything is just
Okay. You
oh,
got the E on
Okay.
the mind. I
Wake
got
up,
the
wake
P
up, wake
on
up.
the mind. I don't know. All right. So yes, and then I thought it was super interesting to really emphasize Melissa Gilbert and Brooke
oh,
Shields in the
yeah,
announcements.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. That was
Yeah.
cool.
The two couple and those two girls, as we have the triple threat.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's very
Yeah.
interesting. Because you kind of think more that suggests that there's more than cameo. It's really like
There's
Yeah.
significant.
like a full on
Now,
arc of
I know
things going on.
Melissa said that it would be 5 episodes. She said
Which
in
is a
another
lot.
different podcast, she said it'd be 5 episodes. I
Nice.
don't think we've
Okay.
heard how many Brooke Shields will be there for. Have we
I
heard?
don't think so.
I don't
No.
know.
No. All right.
Well,
Well, let's dive in and just there's no hope that we're going to clarify this for you, Hardee's, because
yeah. Well,
this
welcome
is
to
very
the
confusing.
and we were talking about that before we even went to recording because
Yeah.
if you don't have this, you really don't know what we're comparing, the episodes, because in this edition, and
Right.
Mark, you're gonna go through the whole
You
thing,
you
but
can start. Go
I was
dive
just
in.
the idea that we have 12 seasons that were the Abigail edition,
12 episodes.
12 episodes, sorry, yes. And then
But
there's
hold
no,
on.
I
Two
was
of
gonna say, but there's no
those,
titles. There's,
but
and Christmas was the
two of
first two.
those are the Christmas movie.
Yep, yep,
So they're
yeah.
listed differently. There's no titles
Mm-hmm.
on the Abigail edition. So
Mm-hmm.
they're listed episode 1 through 12. So today we are talking about 9, 10, 11, 12. But when it aired, you will recall when they removed things and or reshot things and edited them, it went to 11 episodes or the Christmas movie and 9 episodes. So I think on IMDb, it's the Christmas movie and 9 episodes. So
Correct.
people were confused last time because we were talking about, for example, episode 6, which in their mind is really episode 4. But again, we are referencing the Elite box set and how they're listed there. So hopefully that clears it up. Again, particularly the episodes we're talking about tonight, a lot of the action is condensed into instead of 4 episodes, it goes into 3. So there isn't really, I mean, we could spend a lot of time on that and we don't want to. We want to get to the storytelling. So, but Lori, take it away now that I've made those little disclaimers.
Well, these episodes are where things are significantly changed in the way the season was going to play out from how it did what we saw. It is pretty significantly different. In episode 9, Lucas arrives with a painting acquired, and he hangs it very prominently in the saloon, and he says, "We found our Queen of Hearts." But it's a painting that Lucas says is the spitting image of Mayor Abigail. The painter said he's never painted anyone more beautiful than the subject of that painting.
I think the word was actually breathtaking.
Yes. We never saw this whole storyline with that painting. What did y'all think about that?
Well, it's just a full arc. Yeah, full arc. It's about her past love, things that
when she was a teenager, when she was young.
How like old? 18. 18? Yeah, she said 18. I'm like, there's just so much. And then Rob Estes, which we never saw his great contribution to this show, and now we're seeing it in these bonus
the artist Theo.
And this is episode 9 in the bonus Abigail season, and that's the reason why it was condensed, because this whole storyline was really prominent between 9 and 10 in the Abigail season. So when those two things were condensed, that's the reason why we only got episodes for 11 episodes versus 12 with the one that was aired. So
and what's really remarkable is that we never saw Abigail in a full-on romance. And in these 2 episodes, it is full-on romance. It is kissing, it is picnics, it is romantic dinners, it is it is a moment, really.
I mean, we saw Abigail with Bill some, and we saw her with Frank, but it was never a romance like this. Theo.
This is Pastor Frank.
Truly.
It's not a Pastor Frank thing.
No, it wasn't a pastor. This was a passion. This was a rekindling of a relationship that started when she was 18. So like they just pick up right where they left off. And
the idea that Theo, which is Rob Estes' character, Theo really he never married. He was traveling the world and went to Europe and painting everywhere. And so it's like he has a renowned following. You know, his paintings are, I think in the world that we are talking about, it was something that people would appreciate as an artist. And then Lucas, so this episode just begins with this painting being it's arrived, it's in Queen of Hearts, and Lori just said, Lucas said sorry, it's so late. It's a our Queen of Hearts, and everything was lovely, and then it was all the buzz. So
Right. The
you
whole
say
town's talking about
Florence
it.
was talking to uh, Carter, not Carter. Is it Carter?
Carson.
Carson and Faith. I'm like, all those things. I'm like, and then uh Abigail arrives, saw the painting. Lori, what did you just tell me about what your thought process is? Because it was different from my response. What?
I just with when Abigail first
Yeah,
saw it, I
yeah,
knew
yeah,
she was just kind of shocked, and I don't know. I kind of thought she was maybe a little bit upset that everybody was looking and at this like it was something that she hadn't shared with anybody in
yeah,
town up to that point, even Elizabeth, and then suddenly it's on display for the whole town to know about her past.
yeah,
That
yeah. I thought she was shocked, but I didn't see the aminist of, oh, I don't want to share
well,
anything about it. But
I think it was more that it brought up so many memories
sure,
of
yeah.
what
Well,
was
Yeah.
he
going
knew
on there, and
she
And
knew
maybe
the
seemed to be
painful
so many
memories.
emotions playing out on her face.
yeah, yeah. She knew the
Yeah.
the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Very and painful memories, it sound a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because she kind of let him go to pursue his art, and that's why the romance didn't continue. And it's really interesting how she goes from that scene to subsequent ones in which Rosemary and Elizabeth are trying to get information out of her and teasing her about this handsome man in her past. Well, actually, I get that point. They don't know, they haven't met him.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right.
And she doesn't want to play their game. She's
She's
like,
still not talking
she
about it.
shuts them down. She really doesn't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
it's that's the arc of this story, is that she gradually begins to let her guard down, and then he shows up in town. Um, and he's very dashing, and I think Rosemary says quite European in sensibility, and they're all very taken with him. And this is,
Yeah. Well, I
wow.
think Abigail explains to Rosemary at the cafe, saying that it was her first love. So that was the first time that it was, in the storytelling, Abigail is telling Rosemary about, yeah, it was my first love. And and then it's interesting how all of the Elizabeth, how they kind of react and, you know, almost like gossiping in a way
Yeah.
for that whole thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
and
I
she
mean,
must have met Noah not long after because I remember her, didn't she say that she and Noah had married young and had,
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
so it must
Yeah.
not have been too long after she let Theo go the first now.
Yeah.
Or young.
It's so interesting though with the painting, and then Noah was an artist. And
Yes.
you go through, and
Right.
Jack
That's
True.
was also the
interesting.
artist. So the painting that well, that's in the next episode, but
Okay.
yeah, at the end,
Oh, yeah.
to me there's a lot of similarities between Jack and Theo as the
Mhm.
painting.
Oh, that's very
So,
interesting.
yeah, that's
Well, I
my
think
Okay.
I was struck, you said, just overall, I will say the word you kind of harangued yourself for using over and over again last time, Dawn, was rich. But I think it's exactly the right word, because Abigail just adds a richness to the show. And there were things like, I don't know, she had a lot of updos, and that
yeah.
it really felt more period, having
Hmm.
those looks. It also, I'd forgotten the dynamic between Elizabeth, Rosemary, and Abigail. Like,
Hmm.
I don't remember, because there weren't a lot of scenes of the
I
three of them
know.
together.
Yeah.
So we missed a lot of that, how the three of them interacted and how they both supported Elizabeth. And that was really special,
Hmm.
recapturing that and seeing
Yes.
that. I really loved that overall. And then, they play off of each other in terms of the humor too. And it
Hmm.
adds it just adds a very special dynamic. And then overall, I will just say the thing that I miss, that I really miss, is I don't think well, of course, we've had some amazing banter between Nathan and Bill, but the Abigail Bill banter is very special. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
they both have fantastic comedic timing. They really know how to get each other, push each other's buttons,
Mhm.
get on each other's nerves, and the whole thing about, he's evaluating. I hope this is the right episode. He's evaluating whether to accept a judgeship and then eventually does. And the way that they talk about it together is just, it's hysterical. They're just,
Yeah.
they're like a
Well,
little
that is
married
the
couple.
whole, yeah, that whole sequence. So the idea, so again, my notes, you
I'm
guys,
jumping around
this,
too,
yeah,
so
I
yeah.
got notes
But
here too.
yeah, no, I'm tracking for you because when Theo meets Bill and then at the cafe, and then they're like, he thought that that was the husband,
Yeah,
and
oh,
they're
yeah.
like, no, and he's like,
That
oh,
was
I'm only committed to my sandwich.
is that what he said?
It's
That's
so cute.
hysterical.
That's
He said, "No,
funny.
we're just business partners. We're just business
It's
partners."
just I'm just committed to my sandwich. It's
That's
funny.
funny.
I love
Oh
Bill
gosh.
Zingers.
Yeah. And then but between these two what was aired versus what was in this episode, um this was the episode that there was the trial
Oh yeah.
between
Right.
like Jesse
Jesse and
was
Henry.
suing Henry, things like that. But
Yeah.
uh in the aired
And so Bill was
episode,
the judge at that
Yeah,
point.
remember he surprises them and he's like, I'm the judge.
Right.
yeah, well, it was a conversation with Henry that was aired. He goes, "Well, I'm the judge." And because Henry said,
Yes.
"Well, I'm just waiting for the judge," and he
Mhm.
said, "I'm the judge. I just was sworn in." That was what aired. In
Yes.
this episode, it was Abigail,
Mhm.
and that Bill told Abigail that he just was sworn in.
Mhm.
So he decided to do that. So that was the things that were different for that one.
Initially, and guys may have talked about this last time, but there was a sweet conversation where Bill talks to Abigail about it, and now Bill talks to Lee about the judgeship. So it's just a different, it,
Yeah, there's so many things that
Yeah.
they had to readjust.
yeah,
And so as we get to them, I'm hoping that I'll find everything that I saw because I went to the what was aired, which was also in these pack pockets. We
correct,
have
right,
packets for that.
yes,
So everything's there,
yes,
but some things are just different. Um, and one of it's because Cody is still
yeah,
there. And
Yeah.
so that's, I mean,
We
this whole
we also
episode,
lost Cody's performances. So
yeah,
they were
yeah,
yeah.
good.
So
They were good. And we had the whole Cody and Gentleman Johnny.
right,
And this one, a lot of Bruce Boxleitner scenes were cut because they were with Cody and Robert. And I guess they felt for some reason, they couldn't reshoot those without Cody in them. So we just lost those scenes.
it's almost
mhm,
like when you go to this bonus Abigail season,
yeah,
that episode 9, it is almost all the Theo Abigail story.
correct,
All of it is there. All
yes,
Mm-hmm.
conversations was
in
about the
episode 9,
painting. All of
Absolutely.
the gossip was about the painting and the new
Mm-hmm.
guy. I mean,
mhm,
there's just so much in there. So then
yes,
we go to the aired episodes, everything that's kind of cinched up.
yeah,
And, so those are the things that that's the reason why we are quote unquote missing one episode that was aired because that whole arc
yeah.
was
And it's
eliminated.
really quite a good arc.
It
Um,
is. It's so good.
really, really
It
good.
really
Well,
is.
in that episode too, I mean, we talked about Cody, but this is at the end of it, that was the first time that we saw Theo and Abigail kissing,
Mm-hmm.
and Henry saw it.
There's much less emphasis in what aired on the change in Henry.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, because so much of the what happens in the Henry storyline is from Abigail's perspective, because initially she brings him the pie. He's got a new business. She's encouraging him to like stick on the straight and narrow,
Huh.
basically, is like
Hmm.
we see so much goodness in you, Henry. Let's keep it, let's make sure that this is above board and this is a beautiful business and whatever. And then there's a turn, it feels like there's a turn in him, but he witnessed them kissing in the street. So that,
And then everything's different. At
yeah,
that moment,
Yeah.
he's
Henry
noticing
is
that change
reacting
in
to that.
him.
He's like, and then when we go to episode 10, when
Okay.
in the bonus thing, that's everything that has changed.
Okay.
He is so distant. He doesn't want to talk to her. I mean,
Yep.
there's just a lot of because of that kiss and he witnessed it,
Okay.
in
Now
the
it's coming clear to me.
that set the tone for everything.
Yeah.
And we don't know it when we saw it as the aired episodes, because what we get some flavor about what his, meaning Henry's journey was when they found this telegram, whatever. And we'll talk about
Wait,
that next, but
we're moving to episode 10, where the romance continues, right? So,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah. And that's one of the first episode or the first scenes. And Cody is there
Oh,
with
I love
Abigail,
that
and they're
scene.
just going to talk to him about
Well,
Theo.
he's asking questions
Hmm.
suddenly,
Then he sees Theo out by the
but then,
school.
yeah, Theo's painting by the pond, and Cody, he's
He's,
picked up on it, and he says, like, he even tells Theo about Pastor Frank, that Pastor Frank
Mhm.
came into her life, that they were friends, and then he had to
Mhm.
leave and whatever. So it evokes this like sense of, okay, this kid has seen a man come into her life and then depart. And so he's protective of her.
He's
Like,
basically asking Theo, "What are your intentions
right.
for my
Yeah.
mother?" And
Yeah. Yeah.
very sweet. And
Yeah.
Theo is he's a good man because, basically tells him, if you see me hurting her, you let me know.
And it's multiple like kisses. I mean, there's the kissy
Oh
face in
yeah.
the
Kissy,
kitchen. I mean,
kissy,
like,
kissy, kissy.
yeah, they are
Yeah.
kissy. So,
I
yeah.
just, and I know that I'm so sorry, but I just saw something that where it was episode 9, but you were talking about when Henry and Abigail had that
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
That was the conversation when Abigail says to Henry, being right and doing right.
Yes.
The
Oh,
difference between
beautiful.
being right and doing right. And
Interesting.
that was the implication for the trial.
So in what aired, Henry tells Richard Wolff directly about the mineral rights. So
From the mine.
In the Abigail edition, Abigail is there when he explains this, and you can tell she's not happy.
Hmm.
But in the so it's a much more dramatic like scene. It's awful when he tells Richard Wolff, but it's a bigger deal when Abigail is there. And I kind of feel like more people were there in the scene with Abigail. So that was very interesting. So there's all this stuff bubbling up with Henry, but
Hmm.
in the mix of it, which really helps explain, is that he saw her kissing Theo.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Episode 10, Gentleman Johnny.
Yeah.
Now,
right,
this is the situation with Cody and Robert. So they wanted to
right.
get a autograph or something. I don't know what they were going to do.
In their
Yeah.
dime novel or
Yeah. And
whatever.
Yeah,
they wanted an
yeah.
autograph.
And Allie kind of sneaks them into the jail to talk to Gentleman Johnny. And it's very interesting because he's feeding them a line of bull, and Allie's not really, having it. But Cody and Robert are just sort of taken in by this guy. And so that leads to a storyline in which Mountie Nathan um, says to Gentleman Johnny, like, do you really want these kids to end up like you? Like, you want them to emulate you, which was really strong. And
That was really good.
so when they leave town to transfer him to a bigger city or whatever, Gentleman Johnny then goes and asks for a minute to speak with Robert and Cody, and corrects himself. And so it's a really nice kind of button on that you don't see. I mean, I don't remember. I didn't go back and watch all the Boxleitner stuff originally, so I'm unclear. You're saying there was very little of it left.
I love Bruce Boxleitner. I have since Scarecrow and Mrs. King, so I was excited that he was going to be in there. But it was like this was nothing. It was just a little tiny thing.
It was just a blurb versus full
that they caught
story.
him and they brought him in jail, and then he was gone.
Which is interesting because as I was watching it, it was remarkable how much it appeared they did reshoot, and I was really kind of blown away.
It may just be maybe he wasn't available or something and they couldn't do a reshoot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
really good.
Because it was a really good storyline, and I was trying to remember. I didn't get to go back and watch the one that was aired. There's a conversation in there that Elizabeth has with Allie, and Allie reveals that she knows about her grandfather. Was that in the one that?
Yeah,
aired?
it was in the.
Okay. Okay,
it was.
That remains.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were able to work that in.
Yeah. No, it was
and again,
there.
I don't know exactly if this was episode 10, but they start laying the groundwork for the christening.
Yes.
Earlier,
that was it.
Yeah.
So
we referencing that a christening may occur, that there's might be a traveling pastor who would be available for it. And so there's much less of that when it's just the one episode instead of 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that were different.
Yes.
So Julie was the one for the godmother versus Abigail. In the Abigail,
right. So
Abigail was
that breaks my breaks my heart.
And then and we did say that we did see the same things with Bill when she talked to him about being the godfather.
Right, that's the same.
And then for the Guardians, so that
the
was
only thing
fine.
That's different is that Abigail says something like, "I think I know who you're going to ask."
Right.
Father.
And, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, the writers made the right choice, because if it couldn't be Abigail, who would it be? Like, yes, it could have been Rosemary, but having Julie be there was great. It was great.
Yeah.
But and having Julie bring a christening gown that was her like family heirloom, also very beautiful.
Yeah. But I still, in the Abigail edition, it is part of her veil from her
Rosemary
wedding.
has
I'm like, that when I see that, I'm like, oh man, and it was still great.
It's from
still
Abigail's son. Wait, what was her son's name?
Peter.
So it was Peter's christening gown with the lace from her wedding veil that Rosemary sewed on.
Yeah. When I saw that, I'm like,
two of them give her the christening gown, and it's
really good. It's really good. And I totally understand, and I do like what they had to do. And it was still sentimental, but to me it's more heart-wrenching knowing that what the storyline would have been. Yeah. So at the end of this episode 10, that was the whole conversation with Cody, that they were doing the paint by numbers.
I know. I love
the backyard.
That was really sweet.
And then they got the news that he was contacted to do a Rockefeller portrait.
Right.
And so
and at that point he had declared his love for Hope Valley, and they had started talking about building a life together, and it was not going to be like the last time. and
Yeah.
But it was.
she freed him. She's like, there's always going to be, and it was really Cody. It was having the responsibility of Cody and being a
Mm-hmm.
mom and feeling like if I were just by myself and you could come in and out of my life as you're traveling and pursuing these opportunities, that would be one thing. But I'm a mom now and I've got this. So it was really, it was
Protecting
very,
Yeah, I
Cody.
was gonna say, and she had to let him go again, you know. So that was it, the end of the whole arc with her.
well, except that he leaves a present.
He does, he does. The other thing I was gonna kind of point out was the Fiona collection was the
Oh yeah, the short
skirts
skirt.
that were
Yes,
shorter.
exactly. Yeah.
It it's still there in the aired
Yes.
episode, but it's now without Abigail. So they had to
Yeah.
reshoot that whole
Yeah. So there's this
scene.
funny, so at the same time as as Abigail is going through some things and isn't herself, Rosemary also isn't herself. And Elizabeth is trying to figure out what's going on with her two best friends. And,
Right.
we're beginning to get a sense of the infertility and how that's weighing on Rosemary. And so everybody's asking, like, are you okay, Rosemary? And she's just like, why does everyone keep asking me that? And part of it is that she's creating these designs. She created this design for a customer that clearly didn't fit what the customer wanted. And well, there, and she's designing these things with Fiona's advice that it be more forward thinking and more progressive and whatever. And so Abigail and Elizabeth come in and it's just like their faces, they're like, this is not going to work here. This is not going to work.
Right. Yeah.
And
But they go along with her.
it adds so much. And
They try.
in the end, they do figure out a good marketing ploy
Mm-hmm.
and they do sell the dresses, but the looks
Yeah.
on Abigail and
They were
Elizabeth.
like, "This is not for us."
But just to
Yeah.
circle
At
back,
that
just to
point.
finish the Rob Estes stuff, he leaves behind this gorgeous painting of the church on the pond that he was painting when Cody observed him, and he's painted into it. I'm gonna cry. Abigail and Cody, and it's just
Yes.
it's really
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. So yeah, yep.
And it just reminded me of the Jack portrait, season one.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course, because they're
Mm-hmm.
teeny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
They
really
Very
evocative of
similar.
that,
almost, I
isn't
don't
it?
know. I need to talk to Sarah about if that's the same artist that did season one.
Oh, that's so interesting.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, but I
Heck,
It
heck
feels
that
like
away.
it
it
now that you
feels like it.
say
Yeah.
that. Wow,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
that's great. That's fantastic.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah. Well, at
Moving
the end of that
on.
episode, though, that was the first time that Nathan and Elizabeth were on first name basis. So that was the end of that
Oh,
episode.
that was
But I
significant.
don't know. I'm sure it was probably in the aired version, but I didn't know when
Sure.
it was. But that was
Yeah.
the end of that episode in
Okay.
the bonus content.
All right. Moving on to episode 11, which would have aired as episode 9 in the Abigail edition. It's episode 11, and it brings Grace to town, who you'll remember from the spin-off, the two sisters in Windhoek Calls who start the orphanage. The preparations are underway for the christening as well as for a Founders Day festival. Rosemary is all a Twitter about all the festival arrangements. And then propelling more action in this is Jeanette Croix is on the phone. Fiona overhears the little piece of it and she's saying that something's like somebody's coming after them. So Lucas takes this phone call in the saloon. I'm not even in the mercantile, and Fiona overhears it. The opening of episode 11 is Abigail, Lucas, and Elizabeth sitting in the cafe talking about the ribbon cutting. And there's this Abigail's like, well, who's going to do the ribbon cutting for the library? And Elizabeth's like, well, it should be you because you donated the space. And he's like, but you're the inspiration. And they decide to do it together. I don't believe I believe that they didn't reshoot that. it's interesting when you watch what aired. Lucas looks oddly across the table at probably
Oh,
Yeah.
what Abigail was sitting at the table.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just looks like it's
Yeah. The
Elizabeth and
frame was
Lucas
only just
working out.
Lucas and
Yeah.
Elizabeth,
yeah.
Yes. So
but
they're
there's a
just
full
working out the
banter with
details.
Abigail
Right.
in this Abigail edition. So
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting.
So that was interesting. And then also in this, there, Elizabeth and Abigail talk about the traveling pastor and her being the godmother. And then Spencer, this orphan, comes and says hello to with Grace, and Rosemary at the cafe comes and says hello to her. So she's involved in everything. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a
And that,
lot of difference between what was aired and
yes.
this particular episode because in the aired version, there's expanded of the Spencer conversation. So they were at I think the Coulters,
Hmm.
and there's more interaction with Grace and with Spencer. I mean that they just kind of expanded their storyline, what was aired versus what we saw in the Abigail edition
So, and
for
it was
that
also,
one.
it was Elizabeth and Abigail and Rosemary that were discussing Henry and how Henry was hiring. Rosemary was so upset that Henry was hiring away all of Lee's men, all of his workers, and and so that tips Abigail off too about worrying about Henry.
There's something she's kind of looking out at him because his office is directly across from her kitchen from the cafe, and so she's looking out at him and she's like, there's something different about Henry
Mm-hmm.
lately, and she kind of sighs.
Yeah.
You were saying the Abigail Henry stuff. I mean, at the dock, there was a conversation in the Abigail one with Henry and Abigail, and what was aired was not there.
At the
Um,
loading dock.
hmm yeah.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was when Abigail was feeding Jack in the cafe or in the porch of the cafe, she said something like, "Hi, Henry," as like, and
Yes.
he said, "Well, I'm just been busy," because he was like,
Yeah, because she's
"Are
like,
you
it feels like
okay?"
you're avoid is that when she says it feels like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
avoiding me?
yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
and then Amos and his sidekick are at the cafe, and there's interaction with Abigail in the cafe with
Right.
bad old Amos and his buddy that we didn't get to see
Right.
in
Hmm.
the ones that were aired.
So
Abigail was the one who was babysitting little Jack. Are we ready to get into that?
yeah, we are ready. So that's where I was going to go next. So Elizabeth tells Bill and Nathan about right? She's the
Lucas,
one who
yeah.
goes and tells them that Lucas could be in trouble and then he's gone off. And so Nathan rides out and finds Lucas and like persuades him to come back to town. And in the meantime, the saloon is closed and Elizabeth goes to the saloon, but she's because the impetus is she's got to finish cataloging all these books before the ribbon cutting.
Mm-hmm.
She's like in a rush to get this done. So Abigail is the babysitter for little Jack while she's staying late at the library
Yeah.
to finish the cataloging. And Elizabeth goes into the saloon looking for Lucas, and Amos Dixon and his crony are there, and they won't let her leave because they want Lucas to come back. And she says, like, somebody's watching my child. They're gonna be worried, whatever. So Lucas then comes in, and Lucas is then hostage as well. And he makes some reference to money in his safe, and they're gonna get into the safe or whatever. But in the meantime, Nathan comes to the door.
Well,
Uh,
but
and he
remember Abigail, yeah, that's right. Nathan does come, yeah,
So
that happens
Nathan
before
comes to the
Abigail goes
door,
looking.
and and Amos tells him to get rid of him. And so Lucas opens the door just a little bit and like says something to like get him to go away.
Well,
But then
he
he
opened the
But he
door
shows
just
opens the
him,
enough.
door a little more,
and
and
Right.
so
that
Nathan
was
could
still in
see
there.
So
and the
that I
ear
was
that
like, what is on the floor? And then I was like, I bet it's the card she's cataloging of the books
from her basket.
from her basket.
But
Telegram.
before that, Abigail was babysitting little Jack, and Clara comes in and she tells Clara how worried she is that Elizabeth hadn't come back.
Yes.
So she goes looking for Elizabeth at the library. She's not there. So then she goes out to the house and
Row
she goes to
houses.
the Coulters, and she's not there. So she and Lee head into town. So it's not Laura who was
Correct.
babysitting little Jack at all.
Correct.
So Abigail and Lee go into
much
town.
heightened. It's so much more heightened, the drama
Oh yeah.
with Abigail, because Abigail like is panicked. She's truly panicked. And Laura was just like a little bit worried. You could see it in Lee's face when so Spencer, the orphan, is not eating and they can't figure out how to get some nutrition in this kid. And they have the idea that I don't know if Lee's the one who makes the flapjacks, but or Rosemary.
It was Fiona who
they made pancakes. And he loved the pancakes. And so when they redid it, Lee comes over to Elizabeth with the pretense that he's brought her some flapjacks, and Laura is there with little Jack. And so Laura tells him that Elizabeth is not, was expected a while ago. And so Lee takes on that sincere worry kind of feeling, but it's really not the same as the Abigail.
Yeah.
Well, because then Lee and Abigail go rushing into town. Lee's driving her into town, and they run into Bill, who's guarding out by the water tower.
Okay, and this is where it's fantastic.
This is where it gets really intense.
So there's all this bustle going on, and the crony is sent out to get the wagon or get it ready to leave, for them to leave town, and they're going to take Lucas and Elizabeth with them, hostages with them. And Abigail has the rifle and comes up behind him.
Boom. She's the one who stops the evil sidekick.
Boom.
I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was so good.
You know that Bill is working on this too. Bill has said he would go out to, the end of town or whatever. So you're expecting it to be Bill. You're not expecting it to be Abigail.
So that was reshot with Bill. I mean, that was one I never expected.
Gasp.
So good.
Serious gasp.
So good.
What's really nice about it is it's both Elizabeth and Abigail have, instead of being the damsels in distress that are rescued, they kind of have their own part in it too. They're clearly rescuing themselves a bit too. So, I mean, they obviously get help from, because, Mountie Jack and Bill were all everybody's helping, and then it's also really beautiful that Elizabeth, traumatized coming out of the saloon, is greeted by Abigail and embraced by Abigail, and Abigail's like, let's get you home, so it just
and
it's just so different.
It's to her at the Coulter's house at the end. They're taking care of Elizabeth.
Yes, the idea, exactly. It's Rosemary and Rosemary and Abigail are both in the house with her, which of course they would be.
Sure.
And you don't get any of that.
Yeah, it's again just a more poignant, more rich storyline and
more layered.
Yeah, because again, Abigail was there for all of this, all the drama and the trauma Elizabeth had to deal with.
Yeah,
and this is the season that after Jack passed, so it's just like, it's just too soon, and then you are kind of dealing with all that stuff, and then because there was a good arc with Rosemary, what was aired, so at least Elizabeth had a good friend to go to, But
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
different.
Elizabeth says to them, "I'm so glad the two of you are here." I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Hmm.
just
Yeah,
her
yeah.
sense of having those anchors. It's just rich. It's just richer, as you said, Dawn.
Hmm.
It's just really, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, all
Well, the
right.
dots
So
are
moving
connected.
on to
The
episode
dots are
12.
connected with the Abigail story, and
Well,
they're
exactly.
not as connected in the air.
Yeah.
Granted,
Yeah.
they had no choice,
No.
but
Yeah.
they're a
Yeah.
little more
No,
connected with this.
I
Agreed.
mean, shout out to everyone that was part of all of the
Definitely.
reshoot and
Hmm.
things like that. They
Definitely.
did so much
Phenomenal.
just to
Yes.
get a good season out in a way that, no one is anticipating it. But when you see what it was filmed, I was like, oh man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a
Yeah, and you will
greater arc.
recall, there was a moment when we were holding our breath, wondering if the show was even coming back at all,
Oh,
because
well,
they
yeah.
Yeah,
canceled
yeah.
Garage Sale Mysteries. And so, it didn't go on for very long, but
It
there
was
was
for a couple of
hesitation.
hours,
It was
and we
it was a
just didn't know.
while where we were just like, oh my gosh, the show could be canceled. The show could be canceled.
I-
And it's really, so to see what they did, and you have to give Hallmark credit too, because there had to I don't know what the additional production expenses were, but none of that comes at it comes at a price, to do
Hmm.
the work that they had to do to reshoot significant. I mean, that's another thing we should ask Sarah about, is that when we move into episode 12, it's the Founders Day and there's major set design. And there are definitely scenes that they redid, and they had to bring all those props and things back out.
All of it, or even
Yeah.
the extras. I mean, they
Yeah.
had, I mean,
Phenomenal amount of extras.
right, right.
Yeah.
Phenomenal amount of those
Yeah,
extras. Those
yeah.
non-speaking actors were in the back of a couple of those scenes that they reshot. An enormous amount of work went into this, and
Hmm.
an enormous
Major
amount of
undertaking.
heart, and thought to think, okay,
Yeah.
if Abigail isn't going to be the godmother, who is really going to be meaningful? And if the christening gown is not going to come from the two of them, what would make it special? And they really did. It held together. It really did
Hmm.
together. But yeah,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
that scene, the christening party, is that critical one where Nathan holds little Jack and makes the funny faces at him. And what's interesting is that it was Elizabeth goes to speak to Abigail and Rosemary, and they're in the background when Elizabeth turns and sees Nathan making the funny faces. And in the redone version, they've just eliminated that, and you hear a voiceover of Rosemary calling Elizabeth over, and then you don't see.
Hmm.
I think they just cut it and didn't, or
Sure. Yeah,
change the angle or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So many
Okay,
things.
episode 12 is equally painful.
Not because, well, no, it is because of what was aired versus what was in the Abigail season. It's just like
Yeah.
that it's different and yet the same, and yet it's not at all. I mean, even though the idea that
The
we
conundrum.
got that one telegram and Abigail discovered it. Go ahead.
Everything in episode 12 it's the Founders Day Festival.
Well, the
Uh-huh.
christening.
Oh,
No,
well,
no,
yeah.
no, no. You're right. That's
No, no.
your yeah,
Christening was
founders. Yep,
episode
yep.
12. I mean 11 in the Abigail edition. In the Abigail edition, episode 12 is the Founders Day Festival, ending with the dance with the big ladies' choice selection that, was a
But it
big deal.
starts with the christening.
Wait, it
Yeah,
Episode
starts with
12
episode
starts with the
12.
Tiffany, you're
christening.
right. It does start with the christening.
Mhm.
You're absolutely right. It does start with the
And
christening.
that's where we found
So,
the christening gown that was
right.
presented.
Well,
That was
yeah,
different. That
I
was
don't
in
know. I
episode
can't remember.
12.
In it, we've Julie comes and gives her the christening gown. And the reason Julie's delayed or whatever is because she had to go home.
That was what aired.
Whatever. That's what aired. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not in this episode.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the difference. Yeah,
right. And so in the christening scene, I'm not clear on whether they reshot the whole christening scene. Are you? I mean,
well,
at least the right side of
the
left side of the church, they had to reshoot.
There were some scenes
Julie sitting next to Bill.
Right.
And Julie
there were some scenes where they were focused on little Jack that I swear that was Abigail's hair in that. And they had Julie dressed very similarly to Abigail.
So I don't think they I think they just maybe did the coverage of that side of the church.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else they would have done it.
Well, they had to do I mean, they did for the christening. So they would have to do the speaking parts anyway.
Yes. Yeah. So the whole traveling pastor thing, to me, Pastor Simon in what aired kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. And then they explain it in this.
There was a little bit more explanation of it in the Abigail edition.
Mm-hmm.
So
that he's retiring. He's retiring,
and he gave Abigail a list of other possible, pastors that could be called to Hope Valley. And so Abigail is putting that into a file cabinet and sees in the back of the file cabinet that there's this document that's like stuck in the back
there.
Okay, so what is the document?
It's the Pacific Mining letterhead, a telegram from Pacific Mining telling Henry basically that the concerns that he expressed were nothing and to go on, carry on as he had been, to forget about it, basically. Mm-hmm. So we find out that Henry took Noah's concerns to Pacific Mining, and they basically told him to forget it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what was aired was Bill finding it when he was moving into the mayor's office because he needed an office.
Yeah, so there's been this funny tension with Bill not having a place to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because, remember the whole thing with Nathan and the desk? How, over the desk in the sheriff's, in the Mountie's office. And then at a certain point, I believe only in the Abigail editions, but I could be wrong, he's also working in the saloon, and Lucas is like, are you going to be a judge for a large region? And you're not
Lucas, because Lucas got him to leave to go supposedly help Nathan go find Gentleman Johnny.
Oh, okay, all right, but there have been little seeds planted that he's kind of doesn't have a place to work and moving around or whatever. And Nathan, when he leaves for something, I think to help Lucas, is don't get too comfortable or something. So they set that up well. So in what aired, it's Bill, you said moving into the mayor's office.
Yeah. So the bottom line is there was a discovery for that paper, but it was, two people in the aired versus, it was Abigail that they saw it in the version that we are talking about with episode 12.
There's all this stuff going on in the festival. Fiona has taught Clara how to do hair, because Fiona's going to be so busy helping Rosemary with things that Clara is going to help her with hairstyles, and poor Florence gets this awful.
Still, she's had some mishaps for that season between the what's the word that when he exploded in the we talked about that the last time with the switchboard.
Oh yes,
that was
the switchboard
so
and explodes and whatever.
So her hairstyle is all.
There's that going on, and then there's also that of course is the amazing scene where the guys all compete with the the giant, they're trying to win Allie the
Yeah.
fishing pole, and it's,
Strongest man.
there's all this bravado and and then Carson comes in and immediately
Yeah.
Explained.
Done. Here's the
such a
fishing
great
pole.
scene, such a great scene.
Yeah.
How about that pie contest?
Yes.
We
Okay,
missed
so
that whole thing in the aired
right.
I know.
episode.
There's
It was
set
so
up for
funny.
Bill. There's like Abigail talks to Bill about being the judge of the pie
Judge.
contest, and there's even discussion of who's bringing what pies or
Yeah.
whatever. They're classic Bill Abigail
Mhm.
banter, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
And
Well, Cody and Robert go into the cafe and see pie tasting contest, and they're like, "Oh, we like pie." And then Bill walks in there, and they've been eating all the pies. They've been sampling them all.
it's just all over their faces,
They've got blueberry and oh my
all over their
goodness.
hands.
Mm-hmm. Was it Bill? Yeah, he was the one who told the oh, it was whose mother is that? That's one of the kids' mothers. And she my pie, my pie. I've
Yeah,
won
she's
like
very
3 years in
disturbed.
a
She
row.
rushes in. Yeah.
She's won like 3 years in a row, and Bill's like, "Well, you get it."
Right. He just makes her the winner. Yeah.
You're the winner.
Right. And I can't remember how it just becomes a reference to it. They're like, I think the kids ate the pie, and so you're just going to award it. So they just cut that all together. So
Yeah.
that was a shame not to see.
I think they just they referenced it in the aired version.
Yeah, and then the last big storyline is, of course, the Spencer, the little orphan, is there with Grace and with Carson, and he sees families together, and he's mourning, grieving the loss of his own parents and missing his parents, and he disappears. And Abigail is central in that because it's her town, and she's like, Spencer's missing, and she kind of, the whole town
She's
comes
organizing the
but
search.
she's helping organize the search. So she's critical, but all that is going on, and the writing is very rich. And then you move into the dance.
Well, let's talk about. We got to talk about Abigail confronting Henry, though.
Correct. So what I'm saying is, there was the juxtaposition of these important conversations with Henry, with what was going on with the festival and the dance, and it just made it was brilliant writing. It really was. It was
it was a blooming onion. I mean, come on. It was just, yeah. So the idea with Henry, Abigail confronts Henry in the middle of the street. I mean,
yes,
and it was just like you something about Noah, like
you believe Noah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then but in the aired version, that was Bill. And I don't know if I like that version versus Abigail's. I mean, it was interesting that it's different.
It's totally different.
And the dynamic is so different, but the story is like that's what I was saying. It was like the same, but not yet, but it's like
it's
but
totally
the same.
Different.
I'm like, but that particular that whole thing with Bill, and then Elizabeth hears the conversation that they were arguing with each other for. This is the one that was aired versus Abigail and Henry. It's just them, even though they were surrounded by everyone in the street. That was it's almost like a tighter conversation versus the guys are just blustery in the aired version.
But yeah, Abigail she confronts him, and she's angry. She has a real anger about her, that he has allowed himself to take the blame for this when he clearly believed Noah the whole time. And it just
he's blaming himself.
Right.
That he didn't follow through with it, and
and that was
for his friends and neighbors.
Yeah, that was the gist in the conversation with Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
it
he
was,
says it
yeah,
to
Yeah, he
Abigail. He
says it.
says he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be reminded that he stayed true to a company over his friends and neighbors.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you have the whole Founders Day in the background.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
that's
Well, and
the
Elizabeth
day.
sees her later sitting there
And
thinking
I
about it, and
thought
she knows that she knows
either,
something's wrong, but doesn't know what's wrong.
well, Elizabeth sees Abigail after that sitting alone. Is that what
Yeah,
you
that's what I'm
said?
saying. And but she doesn't.
Yes,
She
exactly.
doesn't
And
know
she's
what's
like,
wrong,
she
and
knows
Abigail's just
something's
like,
up with
"It's
her.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
okay."
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I can't remember who it is we interviewed, whether it was maybe it was Elliot who said it, but everybody has suggested that Martin's performance, that we've missed the premiere Martin performance. And I have to say, watching both the aired version and the original version, they were phenomenal performance.
Yeah.
Both of them are
Hmm.
phenomenal performances.
Hmm.
They're different. They have totally different meanings,
Exactly.
but they're both, he's
Yeah.
amazing in both of them. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Well, I think at
I
the
agree
end
with
one, so there's two scenarios. The one that so Elizabeth got the information from Bill. Bill goes to
that.
Henry
Yes,
at the dance, and they're talking. They're sitting on that bench,
right.
and he was, she was encouraging Henry. With the Abigail one, that one to me was more important because her last
Yeah.
message to him was like, but it was, what did, oh, I'm so, what did she say?
He says, you say it doesn't matter that you tried to get the mining company to listen to Noah, um, because you failed, but there's one thing you should know, it matters to me.
Right. It matters to me. That was,
So
yeah.
it was much more personal.
Hmm.
When Elizabeth talks to Henry, it's more about it's about moving on beyond the
Forgiving yourself.
tragedy. It's
Right.
forgiving yourself, but it's also about move, because
Hmm.
remember, she's going back into that dance and she's going to have to pick a guy to dance with. And so it's really about her storyline moving on. It's about both of them moving forward from a tragedy. And so
Yeah.
it carries a totally different meaning than it does. And it also is a different meaning with Bill. Because Bill and Henry haven't always,
Yeah. Conflict.
they've had a lot of conflict and not
Yeah.
been very trusting of each other. And so both are both versions are great, but it just added so much gravitas to it to have the jovial nature of Fiona and Rosemary, like, oh, we work together and let's blow
Hmm.
things up again by having ladies choice, like, but having had right before that, juxtaposed or even in the midst of it, Abigail talking to Henry was just, it just added, it grounded it with,
Hmm.
yeah, it just made it sing. It just made it.
Yeah.
And I also saw in the credits that it looks like Alfonso, and it was like Annie Brunner. It says part one, it lists the writers like Elizabeth Stewart and Derek and whatever for part one, and then it lists part two. So I'm guessing that it was Alfonso and Annie who went in and made the changes. And
Okay.
Mm.
they may have done it in consultation, but the other writers had already wrapped. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, crazy.
Well, it was so
Ah,
good. I
so
mean, you
good.
guys, you Hardies, you need to get this Elite box set
Yes,
from
yes.
Walmart. Oops, sorry, .com with the
Yeah,
bonus
and
content.
not to mention there's
Lots of it.
70 hours of bonus content. So, you know, it's not just the one disc of the Abigail edition. You've got, it's a massive collection that you're
Mm,
getting. And I know I've seen a lot of people saying, I have to ask for it for Christmas or whatever. So initially the thought was that Walmart in Canada was going to carry it. They are eventually going to carry it, but not before Christmas. And so in order to fulfill that need for Canadians to get it before Christmas, Elliot is at Edify is offering free shipping for a short period of time. So go and act quickly on that. If you buy, I think it's a cookbook and the
yeah,
edition, and he'll do free shipping. So that's,
yeah.
yeah.
What a what a bonus for that. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's
shipping
nice. It's
is
trying
really
to,
expensive. So,
yeah, trying
Yeah.
to help
yeah, no,
Hmm.
that's
parties in
good.
Canada.
Thank you,
So,
Edify and Elliot,
mhm.
for doing that for
Yeah,
sure. Well,
yeah,
we know, tell us in the comments, Hearties, what did you think about,
Yeah.
you know, or if you got the box set and if you watched it, what do you think?
yeah,
And maybe if it's someone it's in your Christmas list, tell us that as well.
yeah.
So Mark, you're going to do a trip going
I'm going
forward.
to the
Yeah,
Hallmark Christmas experience this year.
perfect.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes.
excited for you.
I'm seeing everyone freaking out on the I don't think I'm freaking out enough. They're like on the all the chats like premium tree lighting. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just going. I'm just going. I've got my
You
schedule.
figured out all the things you're doing.
I'm gonna get my lanyard and I'm just gonna go and enjoy. I'm super excited that Ben
Yeah.
Rosenbaum has been added to the list. So it's
Yeah,
So
it sounds like
who
there's a
all is going to
lot.
be there from When
Kevin.
Calls the Heart?
It's yeah, let's count. Ben, Kevin, Chris, Pascal, Kevin, Viv, uh,
Liz, Aaron.
Aaron, Ben. Did I miss
You
anything?
counted Ben already.
I already counted Ben. Okay, so that's seven. I feel like I'm missing somebody. I don't know. And
Yes,
then I think
I
it's
don't know.
Sarah Drew and what's the gentleman who's
It's,
in Mistletoe Mysteries is also that weekend three as well.
Oh,
Excited
nice.
to see
Yeah.
him.
That's been
And
really
yeah,
popular.
yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen it really
Yeah,
going
and it's
forward for
all
that
at
one. Yeah.
Crown Center around this beautiful ice rink and big, that's right there at Hallmark headquarters.
Hmm.
well, it's hometown for you
It's
too.
hometown. The Chiefs are playing the Chargers on Sunday, so
Oh my
it's
goodness.
heaven. It's just
It was
it's
meant to
All of
fantasy
be.
it.
heaven. There's barbecue. There's all my favorite
Good.
foods. It's
Checks all the
my
boxes.
sister lives literally 10 minutes away from
Oh,
Crown Center,
wow.
so
Nice.
Will it
yeah.
snow for you while you're there?
It's supposed to be cold. I did see a cold snap is
Mm.
headed in, so the weather could be kind of so yeah, this Californian is looking at her sweaters thinking, do I have enough? And somebody asked me, "Oh, what are you wearing to the photo?" Because there's a group photo that you take with the cast. Like, is this a thing? I haven't planned what I'm supposed to wear for the photo. Like, people have special Christmas outfits. Do I have any of that? No, I do not. So I
Well,
obviously need to be thinking,
stay
You
tuned
got
for the
a busy
picture.
couple of weeks ahead of you to get ready for this
right.
then.
Yeah, so I'll be walking around with my phone trying to do some lives as I'm able to, or just, putting community notes on YouTube and certainly, small snippets of things as I'm able to. Uh, you know, we'll
So
see.
this is the third weekend, weekend 3, right?
Weekend three.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
so it's
It's a large
December
event going for
11th and 12th, I think
several
that's
weekends.
right.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Well, we've done, I think, what we can do
12th and
with
13th.
with what we were talking about. But thank you, Lori and Marg, and thank you to Elliot and Edify and what. Oh man, thank you so
What a
much for
gift.
even getting this out and go to walmart.com or
What a gift.
edifyfilms.com and order your set or make sure that it's in your Elfster or your list of Christmas and hopefully you'll get that underneath the tree
Well,
for this.
we never thought we'd see these episodes, and we
Yeah,
get
not at
to
all.
see them
Not
now.
at all. But I
Well
loved
worth,
it. I
well
loved
worth
Yeah.
it. Loved it,
Yeah.
loved it, loved it. And I just love having the whole set. I love having the soundtrack, all of it. It's
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see you soon. And then this is Heart to Hearties.